Check this out. And
Here we go.
On the border bill, Schumer isn't even allowing amendments, and this exact text failed before. So how can this be seen as anything other than a cynical attempt to try to show Americans that Democrats care about the border?
I mean, I don't know how cynical, I don't understand how that would be cynical when it sounds like Senator Schumer is trying to do his job and move forward a piece of legislation that had bipartisan support, that was negotiated in a bipartisan way that majority of Americans care about.
It stinks!
Trying to move that forward on behalf of not just, obviously not just of what the negotiators wanted to get done in that bipartisan way, but also this is something that the American people want to see. They want Congress to take action on this particular issue. I'm not sure why that would be cynical.
Well, because this exact text failed, and he's not allowing for any changes.
Look, I'm going to let Senator Schumer do the work and move that forward. It is his decision to make that decision. We support it, obviously. We've been very clear about supporting that, about wanting to see that negotiation, that plan move forward. We want to see that happen. We want to see that happen. Now it's up to Republicans to decide if they want to deal with this issue that matters, again, to majority of Americans.
Hypocrisy, my friend.
You opened the briefing by saying it's up to Republicans to do something to solve the problem or continue to use it as a political issue. The president has the authority to do something about this unilaterally. Congress is in a divided government right now. Why isn't he doing anything?
Well, why should he have to do it unilaterally? Why should we do it in a legislative way?
I hear Kofefi.
And let's not forget that negotiated.
Undo some of.
Wait, so you're right. He took many executive actions before, but in order to deal with what's happening at the border, in order to deal with a broken immigration system, you need law. You need legislation. You need it to happen in a bipartisan way. And it was negotiated.
Again, not allowing for any changes, no indication this vote's going to be any different. And it looks like, if anything, bringing up this vote again and setting it up to fail again is really just an indication that Democrats know that they're vulnerable on this issue.
So here's what I'll say, is that I'm going to leave it to Senator Schumer. I'm going to leave it to Senate leadership to speak to the votes, to speak through the process and how they're going to move forward. That is literally something for them to talk about. What I will say is it is long past time to get this done, to get this moving. We were able to get a bipartisan negotiation, a plan forward on an issue that many Americans care about, on an issue that matters for our immigration system, for what's happening at the border, and that's a good thing. And so Senator Schumer, and we support this, wants to move this forward. We want to see this move forward as well.
Lies, lies, and more lies, and lies on top of lies.
Can you kind of explain the timing of how this came together? I mean, are there developments that you are more optimistic this will be more successful than it was last time? And if it is not, does the president intend to try and re-engage Republicans and Democrats to come up with a new agreement before November's election?
Look, it's up to Republicans in Congress if this is going to be successful or not. As I stated, it took several months to come to this bipartisan agreement, obviously coming out of the Senate. We have said over and over again, we believe if the president has an opportunity to sign this into law, it will be the toughest and the fairest legislation to deal with a broken immigration system that's been broken for decades. And we have not seen a legislation like this in some time. And so we believe it's important to move that forward. On day one, the president put
Blah, 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 blah.
Does the president want to see a new deal? If this doesn't...
There's a deal right there.
But if it fails and it doesn't move forward...
Look, I'm not going to get ahead. I'm not going to speculate on what's going to happen tomorrow. But there is literally a bipartisan deal that was worked on for months that can start dealing with this issue. There is. And why do we need a new deal when there's one right there that they negotiated on?
A Lannister always
Don't
pays...
say it.
You opened today's briefing by talking about the latest student loan cancellations for, I think we said, what did we say, in total 4.75 million Americans now. I think it's 160,000. This latest run by Johnson, the Republican House Speaker, today described this as a massive wealth transfer for Americans who did not attend college to those who did. And he described it as a shameful play to buy more votes 6 months before an election?
I will say to the congressional member, Mike Johnson, obviously the speaker, is that what is shameful is that Republicans continue to get in the way of helping us deliver a little bit of breathing room for Americans who deserve that opportunity.
I guess the question, though, is what then is the White House's message to those Americans who did not attend college for a variety of reasons, perhaps, including perhaps that they didn't want to take on all the debt that went with it right now, that they feel like in some form they are responsible for allowing those who did not to pay their fair share?
Go on, say something clever.
So look, here's the thing. This is a president who has been very clear about making sure that he's building an economy that leaves no one behind, right? Making sure that
being left behind, the ones who didn't get support because they didn't go to college.
I hear your question, but this is, if you look at what the president has done more holistically over the past 3.5 years, he has tried to build an economy for everyone. This is one part of his economic policy. When you think about creating 15 million jobs, many of those jobs, if you think about the different legislation that he's obviously passed into law, whether it's the bipartisan infrastructure legislation, CHIPS and Science Act, it's creating jobs that are good union-paying jobs where you don't need a college education, right? Where you can make 6 figures and actually have that opportunity to start your family. He is creating an economy from the bottom up, middle out, making sure that the millionaires, the billionaires and corporations are paying their fair share, right? Not like Republicans in Congress who want to give them a tax giveaway.
Here we go again.
So he's trying to make sure, this is one part of his economic policy, but as he's thinking forward, as he's looking at all Americans, all communities, he wants to make sure that there is an economy that doesn't leave anybody behind. And as historically, that trickle-down economics does not work, and he does not want to see that. So we have given opportunities, and we want to continue to give opportunities for folks who feel like they need a little bit more help.
And I guess just to put a fine point on it right now, for the 4.7 million Americans who have received this debt relief, the average, as you said at the start of this visit, was $35,000 their relief has been for. So I guess why don't those individuals who didn't receive $35,000 in debt cancellation deserve a $35,000 check from other Americans for what other means they would want to use it?
You're talking about
those people who didn't go to college, so they're not getting debt relief, the $35,000 that they don't get because they didn't go.
We're talking about folks who are in debt who are literally being crushed. Literally being crushed because they took
Literally being crushed.
Financially. Okay, is that okay with you? Okay, but I know, but crushed financially. And so they're trying to get their lives back on track, right? They're trying to get into a place because they took a bet on themselves in a different way, right? A bet of themselves in going to college. And some of them, it is difficult to do that, right? And they did that. Financially, it's hurt them, and we want to give them that breathing room.
That's a damn lie.
But it's not just folks who have debt because of colleges. We're trying to help people in different communities as well. Folks who don't have to get that college degree and can make 6-figure salary. That is one of the things that the president was very proud of when he passed the bipartisan infrastructure legislation, when he signed the CHIPS and Science Act. Those are really important components of what he's trying to do as well. If you think about making sure healthcare is more affordable, getting that prescription drugs, many for diabetes, for cancer, making sure that those costs are lower, insulin. So there are many ways that the president has made sure that Americans have what they need to move forward with their lives, create and build a family where they feel like they're going after their dreams as well.
The student loan debt forgiveness. In the announcement, the Undersecretary of Education said, "We congratulate those borrowers on their due forgiveness." I'm just wondering why people who take out a loan to go to school, then go to school, why are they due forgiveness?
Everybody has a different story as to why they need student loans. Everybody has a different reasoning as to why they want to go to college. I cannot speak for everyone.
Well, why is forgiveness due to them?
What do you have to say for yourself?
What we have been very clear about is the student loan system needs to be fixed. The president is trying to do that and fix it in a way where people are not feeling that crushing financial burden that they deal with when they leave college. And that is something that they shouldn't have to. They should be given a little bit of breathing room. That is something that, by the way, that's something that majority of Americans agree on. to be given a little bit of breathing room so that they could.
More than half disagree
Well,
with
that's
using
one
tax
poll.
dollars.
That's one poll.
But
That's one
a
poll.
follow-up question, if you
Yeah,
will.
sure.
Does the administration think that student loan debt cancellation contributes to inflation?
What we believe is student debt cancellation gives an opportunity for Americans to start a life, to buy a house, to start a family. That adds to the economy. That is also important to the economy. And it gives, again, a little bit of breathing room so that they can actually take action and do things that they've wanted to do.
I'm tired of the clown show. Tired of it.